We are live. We are live. We are live. We are live with Wendy Watkins. Oh my God. I'm seriously, you're laughing. Wendy.
Oh wait, we're going to be serious? Okay.
Seriously. I'm seriously excited to be with you, Wendy. I mean, honestly, our live session with the Joy Goddess, I mean, it just has to be something more, you know. And you know, every single time, Wendy, when we're together, it's bound to be fun. It's bound to be joyful. And so I'm super excited, and I have no clue how I'm going to make this into a 20-minute thing, because I know you and I, we can't go blah, blah, blah.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Oh, yeah. So I am super thrilled. David Ralph, he wants to have a glass of what the two of us are drinking. It's actually water, David.
Dave, water, David.
Yeah. But then, David, you have to interview Wendy for your podcast. So yeah, so here's the introduction. David has a fabulous podcast coming that he's been doing for years, and he's very successful. Yeah. So who knows? Maybe I'm just doing an introduction here, even though I'm not aware of that. But never mind. Let's get into the serious business.
Okay, seriously.
Serious business. Okay. Welcome everyone. It's Rúna here. I'm calling from Facebook. On a Facebook Live, and I'm calling from my office in Iceland, and I especially want to welcome to this Changemakers interview Wendy Watkins. Yeah, no, it's actually her real name. I think it's just beautiful to have WW and living in a world where we have WWW all the time, but she has the two W's there. She is the CPCC professional coach who works with, wait a minute, ambitious people who are called to do and be more with their lives, but are not quite clear on how to achieve that lofty goal. Wendy teaches a mind-body business approach to building a juicy, fulfilling, and successful life. And I know from my own experience that that's exactly what she's doing every day. This inclusive strategy focuses on strong, optimistic mindset, the all-important planning process, and a fabulous self-care techniques. Wendy's clients enjoy all the benefits of success, including joy, yeah, of course, fulfillment, and more back deposit. I'm in for that.
Yeah.
No, yeah. No, Wendy was one of the first $1 million saleswomen for Aveda. And Wendy, that is a lot of shampoo, isn't it?
Yes, it's a lot of shampoo.
And the author of the Joy Factor recipe book, which I absolutely love. And that book is all about it's a common sense approach to a delicious life. Wendy has coached hundreds of people, and I know worldwide as well, to create successful lives and flourishing businesses aligned with their purpose and passions. And you can visit her website, wendywatkins.com, to pick up her free ebook, 7 Activities for Increased Success and Fulfillment. Welcome, Wendy, darling.
Thank you, Rúna. So good to be here with you. Yes.
Well, you are, I've known you, Wendy, for, I think it's almost a decade now.
Yes, I think it is.
Yeah. And if I would give you my insights into what I see as your X factor, that you are, for me, you're a fearless joy goddess. And you're so unafraid to step into the unknown and just explore and be open for whatever it is that is coming. And I just love and adore that in you. And yeah, I look at this hour or this 20 minutes, not even hour. I think we could do an hour and a half easily. I look at it as the happiness chapters in this interview series, because that's what you stand for, and I know that's what so many people need to listen to, whether they are leading they want to lead themselves, they're leading a business or organization or a team or a community or even a nation. Joy is such a big part of being able to not just survive it, but really thrive in it.
Yes.
And saying that, for some reason, this might be just in my head, but it feels sometimes to me that somehow, even though we know that joy is such a big thing and it's so important for people to be energized and everything, to get their day, just go through the day. Do you have any idea how that happened, that for some reason the world decided to skip joy in the workplace?
It's a mystery, right? It feels that way, that I would have to assume in simpler times it was easier to have joy in the workplace, right? Probably in the 20s, 30s, 40s, it was simpler times. We did not have the pressure, the amount of information, the amount of opportunities that now overwhelm people. And somewhere along the way, everything got very important and significant. And I'm not taking away from importance and significance, because I know there are lots of people that are doing great things in the world. Yet amongst that significance and importance, the emotional side was pushed farther and farther back. I mean, because what we're talking about here in joy, it's one of the most expansive emotions that people can experience, right? And we know that when people are joyful, that they're more productive, they're more engaged, they're happier, they're healthier. But yet for some reason, it started to get squelched because the whoever the powers that be sitting in the glass tower wanted results and didn't care how people felt about it.
Yeah, sounds like the old style of leadership.
Yes. Yes.
Normally the guy in the jacket that was had the office with a carpet, and everyone kind of like we're more expected to admire than what they actually did. Would you say then, is this part of the Industrial Revolution where everything was really put into, everything was put into this more or less like manufacturing board, and you had to fit into all of these different boxes? Is that the result of being put into boxes?
It could be. It's really a great question, and I've not done a lot of research on it. And I think it's a place to look where that, switch was.
Yeah.
But I do believe that productivity became more important, and people didn't realize the impact that happiness and joy have on productivity. And so it was, who would think, they wouldn't think about that. So probably in the Industrial Revolution. And then when we moved into the 80s, when it was all about money and power, and such like that. And now we're starting to come back around and looking at, okay, maybe there is something to happiness and flourishing in the workplace.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it makes me think as well when it comes to leadership, about in the beginning of last century, the rise of what is sometimes called as the feminine leadership, or the new paradigm of leadership, when values such as collaboration and communication and all of these get together type of values became more looked at as the tool that the leaders needed to use more to get more out of their employees and create a culture, a company culture that people would flourish in.
Mm-hmm.
So that makes me think as well, when you and we've talked a lot about it in those years that we've known each other, the effect that joy has had on companies such as Zappos, as an example, that are basically just delivering happiness 24/7.
Yes. Yeah, that being their vision, their mission, their values, it's all based around happiness. Yeah. And you can see how that company, we all love to do business with Zappos. But it's, what's interesting when you say that, Rúna, because it starts from the top down. Yeah. Right? So Tony, the owner of Zappos, he surrounded himself with the right people that aligned with his culture, and then was able to deliver that message consistently to both the internal customer, the staff, and the external customer. Mm-hmm. And so many organizations don't spend time in choosing the right managers. So, honestly, I was reading something in Gallup that only 10% of human beings are actually wired to be great managers. And yet others are teachable, but only 10%. And then only 18% of the time do companies choose the right people. So choosing the right people based on your culture, hiring correctly, and then having those managers be responsible for the happiness. Because what happens is, right, something happens in an organization and engagement they start losing people. Turnover increases, productivity decreases. And what do? They bring in someone like you and I, or someone to work with their team, and they want you to fix their people. Work with them.
Fix them.
Right. And it's never about that. It's always the power comes, and Zappos is one of those companies that knows that working with the managers, really getting those values so deeply ingrained in them that is what they bleed, basically, right? And that becomes what the employees do. And there's follow-up measures and all sorts of things to that. And organizations are missing the boat on that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, many, not all, many.
No, I get, those who are not doing that are the ones that people look up to, are the ones that other companies want to example. Yeah. They are unique, and their company culture is aligned with their brand. So the inner brand is really able to deliver the promise that the external brand is saying to the customer that they are. So and when there's a misalignment, it's out of the window.
Yes.
So I knowing you and knowing how you're naturally joyful, Wendy, it comes across as that you are. But have you always been?
No, I haven't. There's always, it's interesting because we all come to the world with our happiness set point, right? Mm-hmm. And there's not like a test that you could take. Well, there probably is one somewhere along the way that will uncover what your happiness set point. But that truly is just about 50% of what makes us happy. So for me, I came into the world and started off that life was fine. And then, as most of us, got thrown a few curveballs and started realizing that it wasn't as good. And I started searching for that joy outside of myself. Mm-hmm. And for many years looked for it outside myself, as so many people do, right? I call it my sex, drugs, and rock and roll years. You can call it whatever you want to call it, but we've all been out there looking for it. And that was really what led me to, when I reached my bottom of realizing that, oh my gosh, I can't find sustainable joy. Every time I get happy, find something that I think is happy, making me happy from the outside, like a pair of new shoes, a lovely new relationship, or food was a big one for me. But when the brownie was gone or the shoes wore out, the happiness was gone. So I was always on the search. Yeah. And, when I finally realized, no, I've got to find it in here. Joy comes from within. That's when I went on this quest to say, so what is it? What does bring sustainable joy? Because that's what I want. And then realized that was my purpose and mission, to share that with the world. But it's mind-blowing, right? So think of this, comes from the world of positive psychology. If we come to the world, 50% of our happiness is already deemed. 10% of our happiness is affected by external situations. 40% of our happiness is what we have the ability to create or not.
40%.
40%.
Yeah. Wow.
So we have a lot more control over it than we think we do.
Exactly. So being a leader, and like you're saying, the importance that it comes from above. So being a leader who is leading division or team or company or whatever.
Yes.
And getting the help to work on those 40% in him or herself is eventually going to go down.
It's going to ripple down to their team.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. To their team.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And
if they're intentional about it as well, right? Because like you mentioned with Zappos, it's part of their culture. So if joy and happiness and satisfaction and fulfillment is not part of the culture, it does make it a little bit more challenging.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course. And do you see, as I know, the group of people that you are working with, high achievers, who want to make a difference, but they don't really know how to do it. Mm-hmm. How have you, or what have you seen as been their challenges to use joy as one of their in their toolboxes to achieve their goals and really becoming that difference, making that difference that they want to become?
Yeah, that's a really good question, because the people that typically come to me are doing well in their life. They're at a place in their life where they've reached their goals, they've achieved some of their dreams and visions, but yet they're still not happy. And that goes back to that search for finding it outside of themselves. They thought, if I reach this level of success, if I get the big house, the nice car, the beautiful partner, the kids, I will be happy. But, it's an inside job.
When.
Yes. And even for a lot of them have it. They actually have it, but they're still not happy. We all know plenty of people that are on the outside look like they have it all, but on the inside are not happy people. So a lot of times they come to me for that. They may hear me speak or see me in something like this. And just like David said, earlier, I want some of what y'all are having. That's exactly it. They feel the joy, they feel the energy and the vibration, and they realize that they want it now and they don't quite know how to do it. And it is a learned skill. Just like management is a learned skill, optimism and happiness is something that we could absolutely learn to increase in our lives.
Yeah, which is beautiful. Yeah. So if I would come to you and as a leader with my team and I'm not really happy, but I just listened to you and you said, okay, I can increase it 40% here. I can be a little bit happier. What would you tell me? What would you tell me? What should I do?
Well, the coach in me would ask you a bunch of questions first.
Yeah.
So we would of course look at all areas of your life and ask for a clear picture. But what I find is there's some simple tools that people, especially successful people, can come to that I give. So the first one, Rúna, is successful people spend more time looking at what they've not accomplished and what they need to get done. So every day is never enough, right? Especially ambitious people. They have a very high bar for themselves, and leaders have the endless to-do list. So it's never done, never good enough. So one of the first things that I ask people to do is start to shift their perspective each and every day and do some reflection on what has went well in your day.
Yeah.
To just spend a little bit of time. And it's one of those questions when, you know, I ask somebody that. And when I first started asking Matt, my husband, who is in corporate America, and he would come home and I say, so honey, what went well today? He would give me the little bit of that Scooby-Doo look like, huh? What? Like, not how was your day? Because that's the usual question, right? Yeah. How was your day? Well, oh my God, I was in meeting after meeting and I didn't get anything done and I got to work tonight and blah, blah, blah. Take a minute to look at what went well. And if you really reflect on what you've accomplished, and who you have supported to accomplish something, that will slowly and surely start to shift your level of joy and appreciation. Now, you can't go from, if I work with someone and I ask them to rate their joy factor and they're at a 5, I can't take them from a 5 to a 10, but by just, at least in one day. But when I ask them to start looking at what went well and practicing that daily and doing that exercise at their table with their children to look at what went well, I could talk to them the next day and it will have gone from a 5 to a 6 or a 7. Just from putting attention on what went well. Because you and I both know that what you put your attention on expands. So if you're looking at what went well, then you're going to get more of that.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's probably the simplest, most powerful shift of perspective I would offer a CEO or a leader in a company to spend their time. A little bit of time, not even a lot of time.
No, it's not even a lot of time. It's just, And that's what I've seen as well. I agree with you. Working with leaders worldwide, it's really about just giving them giving yourself the space to breathe and discover what is it really that you're talking about that is missing. And, you know, my thing that it's right in front of your everything that you need. There it was. Yeah, it wasn't me stuttering. It's just what it is. And it really is. And what you're saying, I mean, gratitude is definitely one of the keys. And what you're sharing as well, I think when it comes to dinner table conversations, it can just be so fulfilling to have a conversation that is more in that, you know, what was beautiful in your day today.
Yes, Yes. I'm sorry, I got excited because I was with an organization yesterday that I work with, and I've just only been working with them for the last 2 months. And when I came into their first staff meeting, that was how they started their staff meetings. What's going well? I was like, I love you guys. I knew that we were supposed to be together. And that they start every meeting and they end every meeting with what they're looking forward to. So it's just such a positive way. And you could feel that energy in amongst the building for sure.
I love that. Starting a meeting and ending with what am I looking
forward to.
What am I looking forward to? You know what? I'm going to use this. I need you to come again for another interview, Wendy, because we need to dig more into this thing, which I think is one of the most important thing to have for anyone. That they spend their day feeling joyful, doing the things that they need to do to make their company or their organization or the community or whatever they're working on moving forward in a positive way. So we definitely need another date, but I'm gonna say thank you right now, Wendy. It has been a blast.
Yes.
I am so grateful for the happiness that you gave me today, and you've given everyone that is listening and will be listening. So it's bless for me here in Iceland. Until next time.
Thank you, Rúna.